Good morning, evening, afternoon, whichever one it is, brothers and sisters. As always, back to share relevant, important information. Of course, playing catch up, like I said, been down for what, 2 years, and been having a lot of information to share. So as it comes, I try to immediately pour out and share what comes to me from the Most High, and give it to you all to continue to absorb and soak in and allow it to bless your lives as it bless mine. Basically, on this video, I want to talk about the degrees of happiness. But y'all know I always try to introduce other things before I dive in to the message. So mainly, I watched the video just real quick. This woman, sharing about the Hebrew Israelites and other brothers and sisters are being awake, the great awakening taking place, where more brothers and sisters realizing the truth about them being in Israel. So I'm definitely going to play catch up on that because an awesome, awesome revelation came to me about Hitler. How Hitler is portrayed as this evil tyrant when actually Hitler was defending the true Jews. He was standing up for the true Jews. Hitler was not as bad as he's portrayed. He was actually a decent person. Hitler was no different than Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, JFK. Hitler was just another threat to the establishment. So, yeah, I bet y'all like, hey, tell us more, tell us more. We want to hear more about that. So that will be another video, so stay tuned. But basically, in this video, I'm gonna try to work on limiting my videos. I know I say this every other video, cause some people I know don't have the time to sit there for a good 30, 40 minutes. You know, here. I mean, I know some people enjoy when I share, and I know people on the time frame, and people want a lot of things crammed in at least a good 15 minutes. If you can do it in 5 or 10, great. But if it's like within 10, 15, so, but some information is just impossible to limit to 5 or 10 minutes because it's so much to get out and it's so much detail to make sure people thoroughly receive and understand what's being shared. So, but getting right to it. The degrees of happiness. Now, the most common thing any of us in this life is pursuing is happiness. And we want happiness in different ways, different avenues in order to get happiness. Because everybody's happiness is not the same. What makes me happy may not make the next person happy when it comes to lifestyle. Now, when it comes to God, we everybody who is a believer is equally happy. But when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes to taste, quality, that's why happiness differ because we are not all the same. We don't have the same taste and style. So if I get, I don't know, maybe a blue, and I'm just randomly, that's not my favorite color, but if I get a blue suit and I'm like, wow, I'm happy because I got a deal on this blue suit. Well, next person might like a red suit for whatever reason, Valentine's Day or something, I guess. They may not get the red suit that they want for the same deal as I got the blue suit. But they like red. So therefore, by them not getting the same deal, it's like, hey, they don't make me happy that I didn't get the deal I want for this red suit. Well, me, I'm like, I don't like red. So if I was to get the same deal on that red suit, it wouldn't make me happy because I don't like red anyways. So hey, so just you just using a little example of the differences of happiness. Like somebody getting a promotion on the job as, I don't know, a forklift driver or something, and they happy, woohoo, and somebody offered me that same promotion. You know, like if I'm somewhere working in a warehouse or something and they offer me the same promotion and say, hey, you know, you eligible to get a forklift job. And I'm like, nah, I'll pass. Like, you sure? I mean, the opportunity is yours. The door's wide open. No, no, I'll pass. You know, I'm not a forklift guy. I just, no. So, you know, just use an example of difference of happiness. But mainly the point I'm getting to is happiness comes with responsibility. The more responsible we are, the different degree of happiness that we can attain. Take it for instance. We start off as a toddler, okay? We, you know, just experiment, exploring. You know, we get into some everything. We pick up, ooh, what is this and what is that? And mom or dad, grandma, whoever your guardian is, says no, 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 no. So we learn no before we learn yes. You know, that's the first thing we learn in life is the no's, the don'ts, before we learn the do's. And all right, Adam and Eve learned the same thing, the don'ts before the do's. And we end up, like I said, getting up in age. We get to a certain age, and the toddler years is really don't matter about our happiness. You know, as long as it's odd and weird, and we getting a kick out of it. You know, as a kid or a child, you know, always use their imagination and create something to make them happy. Just basically create happiness out of nothing. So, but when we get up in age, let's say around the teen years, now our happiness comes with responsibility. In Luke 12:48, to whom much is given, much is required, that's when responsibility kicks in. And that's when our happiness is determined off our responsibility. So even in this scripture, to whom much is given, much is required, or within that scripture, that right there points out with God in Christ that certain things we want out of life that we trying to attain in order to be happy, we have we have to reach a certain level of responsibility in order to get that degree of happiness. So the teenager that wants to drive the car, you know, they want to have their own vehicle. Well, that starts by first being responsible behind the wheel. Start, you know, passing a test, having a knowledge of the do's and don'ts, learning about safety, learning all the rules of traffic, learning the laws of the vehicle and about the street laws, do's and don'ts, and then and eventually get the license. But it doesn't stop there. So now that responsibility is not just getting a license, make sure they're insured, and going out and being responsible, having good judgment behind the wheel. So their happiness of driving is based off their responsibility and their discipline and being safe. So that responsibility led to this happiness. And then it goes up even higher. So now it's okay, responsibility of having a car. So now I want my own place. So own place requires double the responsibility. So in order to match up to this level of happiness, you got to match up to responsibility. So now it's being responsible as a driver, being responsible as a tenant at a home or an apartment, and then okay, I want this certain career. It might be, and I don't know, like a female with an RN, a guy with as a truck driver, or something that's it's more money, but it requires more responsibility. So once again, that increase of responsibility in order to reach that certain degree of happiness. So that to whom much is given, much is required is saying you have to be more responsible in order to receive more happiness or the happiness that you attain. Now, I'm not saying that because a person doesn't have $1 million in their account or a Lambo or, you know, like dream vehicles, dream jobs, dream amount of money, that you can't be happy where you are. You know, of course, that's where it goes back to counting your blessings. You know, Don't, because if you base it off material things, of course you're gonna always be miserable because you always gonna have this hole that has to be filled, and it's never gonna be enough. But what I'm saying is the degree of happiness where a person is now, in order to get to a higher degree, a lot of times it involves a higher level of responsibility. Now, moving to Matthew chapter 13 and 12. Christ says, and this is basically talking about him sharing knowledge in particular of the kingdom. But every line upon line, precept upon precept that's in the scripture, not only in the scripture, but what Christ speaks is important. And it applies any which way. That's why you hear people that minister and they take a scripture and they find 1,000 different meanings from this one particular scripture, because a lot of things Christ taught and said could go so many different ways, but it's all relevant and connected to the same thing. It's just looking at it from a different angle. And I call it a prism. Well, a prism, similar to a crystal, that deflects light in different angles, but it's all coming from the same source. It's not shining light from the same angle. So the same way as each scripture being a prism that shines light from different angles. Now, Matthew 13 and 12. Whoever has, whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. All right. Before that, the whole scripture says, the knowledge of the secrets of kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Well, actually, yeah, that was the scripture by itself. I read correctly. That's 12 by itself. Whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. Now, this scripture is in adjacent to Luke 12:48. To whom much is given, much is required. Whoever has will be given more, but whoever does not have, even what he does have will be taken from him. Here's what I get out of this scripture, is that whoever has from God will be given more from God, as long as you in compliance with God's will. But whoever does not have from God, even the little that they do have will be taken away from God. These are people who are not in compliance with God's will, who feel that they don't need God, that they can live without him. So they like, I got something going for me. I don't need God. So even what they do have can be taken away from God. So see, some people thinking, oh, Illuminati and all this, it's not affecting them. Wrong. It's affecting everybody across the board. It's people on here. This is one lady, I can't think of a name, that's exposing the panic that's taking place amongst the elite, because they see the power of God on the rise. You know, that vengeance is taking place amongst the Father. That vengeance. Because America is really borderline from being destroyed. It's people like me and other believers the reason why America is still standing. Because just like what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah, it was Lot and his family that protected those twin cities. It was Lot and his family. If it wasn't for Lot and his family being there, Sodom and Gomorrah would have been destroyed. But it was them few people, 4 people, that saved 2 cities from being destroyed. But once those 4 people removed themselves, or God removed them by sending angels to come get them, or pretty much extract them, then he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Because, all right, now I see not one drop of good now. It's not one good, decent person, because the 4 decent people that was in this city has been removed. So now I'm finna destroy it. So just something to keep in mind, brothers and sisters. Remember, by having a good heart and being a decent person, you alone are saving I don't know how many, probably millions, thousands of people's lives just by you being in a certain city or a certain location. You alone, because God favors you and He don't want to bring harm to you, is the reason why He not destroying a certain area or a certain city or a certain location, because He has that much favor. But once you get relocated and repositioned out of the way, then He finna destroy whatever facility, whatever establishment, whatever structure is set up that's bringing about wickedness and evil. So that's just something to remember. So going back to the degrees of happiness, to whom much is given, much is required. So point out that scripture. Now, like I said, whoever's in compliance, God gonna continue to add more. Whoever's not in compliance, the ones who think that I don't need God, I'm happy with what I got, He gonna take it away and show them I'm the one created the universe. I'm the one created you. So if you think that you finna be happy without me, wrong, because that's contradicting of my law. That's contradicting of my will. So to prove you cannot be happy without me, I'm finna continue to take away what's mine, including you. So if He decide to take a person's life away, yeah, it belongs to Him. So but a lot of times He don't do that unless people causing a great amount of destruction. So that's the only time He immediately, okay, I need to see them. Send an angel of death, get them. But yeah. So basically, brothers and sisters, in a nutshell, this is not a message that's deep. This is more like a reflection. But our happiness is based off our obedience, and our obedience is based off our responsibility, our discipline. So when God sees that you are responsible in being disciplined, having self-control, you are showing maturity through patience, you're showing maturity through trustfulness of Him, then our happiness shall get increased. It's a lot of us that have a lot of great things that's waiting for us in this life and on the next life. But in this life, there's a lot of great things that's in store for us that is not ready. It's not our season yet, and it's not our time, because a lot of our blessings are like time release capsules. They're time released, and when it reaches that time due, if we've been in compliance with Heavenly Father's will, He will release it during that time. So He knows when we in need. He knows what we want, what's our desires. He knows our struggles, our weaknesses. He knows. So just remember. So don't think that He not watching, or you lonely and nobody hears you, nobody understands you. A lot of times He get frustrated with so many people on this earth that don't go to Him and seek Him for help. People are just that stubborn and selfish, that they would rather suffer than go to God for help in order to get out their current situation. So He loves us all, even those who hard-headed, bad, disobedient, because apparently we here for a reason. Everybody's here for a reason. I know my purpose. It's all about knowing yours. So, happiness, to whom much is given, much is required. Be responsible, be obedient, be faithful. And when Heavenly Father see that, or not just see, but believes that you are responsible enough to get on that next level of happiness that you're trying to attain, He'll give it to you. You just got to show you're responsible and faithful, that's all. Remember, it's all about being a good steward. So you got to show good stewardship. And that good stewardship requires being responsible. So, hope you're blessed by it. Leave it at that. And that other information, like I said, I get around to it. So, but I'm going to think on it. I'm going to pray on it, because you got certain people that watch these videos and don't want certain information put out. So, that's why I say I'm going to think on it. and I might go another route in sharing it. But other than that, peace be unto you all, and Christ for life.